opening, grand closing. Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. It's your only friend, these YouTube streets, PlayStation77, back with another video. So, MPD, now known as Circana, data's come out. But the question is, why are you going to be interested in this? Because I think this is a clear sign of something that gamers who were paying attention about Xbox, PlayStation, the effect of Call of Duty on Game Pass, and what that means for the future of Xbox. I think we got a good look at what's happening. So first, let's start out with the first thing, right? To get this baseline going. PlayStation for the month of October was once again the best-selling hardware platform in both unit and dollar sales for the month, with Xbox Series ranking second across both measures. Okay, this is Matt Piscatella. He works for Circana, formerly known as MPD. You won't find this on Twitter anymore. He's on Blue Sky and Thread, so if you're interested in looking this directly, you have to follow him there. Now, once again, PlayStation's the number one selling platform. Now, of course, you can say, well, Xbox is number two, but consider who's the other competitor. The other competitor is Nintendo. Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch has been out for over 7 years. It's about to be 8 years this March. So clearly it is down to its last, how would you say, kind of like lifespan in terms of console. Nintendo already announced that they will be announcing the Switch 2 by 2025. So by March, we're going to hear something about the new, successor of the Switch. So Xbox is only in second place because Nintendo is pretty much fizzling out because the hardware is old. It's over 7 years old. But once the Switch 2 comes back out, Xbox going back down to last place, right? But it's really important to understand this, right? Why didn't the Xbox Series outsell the PlayStation 5? Now, you might be thinking, well, was it supposed to? Technically, yes, right? Technically it was, because something in the month of October was supposed to spark interest in Xbox, like reinvigorate the comeback, like kind of like the PlayStation 3 and stuff like that. Like this was the start of the momentum, and that was Call of Duty. See, for the first time, Call of Duty is day one on Game Pass. That means you don't have to buy the game. That means if you're subscribed to Game Pass, you got the game. Now, the logic was, what would be the impact of Call of Duty being day and date on Game Pass, and what impact that will have on the Xbox? Would people now be like, wait a minute, I could get Call of Duty, and every Call of Duty from this point forward that comes out every year, day one on Game Pass? You know what? That's the game people buy consoles for. Apparently, people don't buy PlayStation for exclusives. It's only for Call of Duty. So why would you buy a PlayStation and have to pay for online, then pay $70 every single year for a game when you can just get an Xbox, especially a lower costing Xbox, the Xbox Series S, the cheapest entry into this current gen of gaming? Sign up for Game Pass and you're good. $15 a month. And on top of that, you get more games, right? All the other day one games from Microsoft first party, as long as third parties, any third party deals, or just generally the full entire libraries of what, 300-400 games. It's a steal. It's a shoo-in. Who's going to buy a PlayStation when you primarily buy PlayStation for Call of Duty? It just makes sense to switch over to Xbox. Well, clearly it didn't. With PlayStation being number one, it didn't happen. Now, the significant part is this. We can all argue and say, or people are going to argue and say, oh, but Portak, this is just the U.S. Well, the truth is, U.S. is really the only relevant region for Xbox. Xbox is pretty much dead, null, and void in Europe. It never, ever had a chance in Asia, especially Japan. It just was always non-existent. And South America doesn't really produce the numbers, really does, and neither does the Middle East, and Africa is a nothing burger. Really, the only region in the world where Xbox has a significant presence of consoles is the US. And if you can't do it here in the US, you're not going to do it in Europe. It's not going to happen, right? So if Call of Duty and Game Pass didn't have that impact here, it's not going to happen, right? So let me show you this. Look at this also information, right? Again, from MPD. Consumer spending on accessories increased 15% October when compared to a year ago to 187 million. PlayStation Portal was October's best-selling accessory, right? So as far as that goes, Portal's an absolute success. It's consistently like the best accessory for the year in the US over and over. It's just whatever it is, it hit. Now, there was a lot of questions about the Portal. Even I had questions about the Portal. It just didn't make sense for the way it is. But then somebody, Extreme was one, and I talked to other people. They made a good point. Sure, sometimes you have devices that are like the jack of all trades. A lot of people saying, why buy a Portal when you could buy the Asus ROG, or you could buy a Steam Deck, or you have a tablet like the iPad that has remote play, and you can use those devices to remote play into your PlayStation 5, which is true because the app could be downloaded and used, and you can remote play. The Legion, Lenovo, whatever. All those handheld devices, along with the iPad and stuff, Galaxy tabs and whatever, they all have the capability to remote play into your PlayStation, right? But sometimes you don't want a device that does, all right, remote play, PlayStation, okay, does a good job, it pays the bills, but it have all these other capabilities. Sometimes the capability that you want it at its best. So for example, if you want remote play with the PlayStation 5 as the primary purpose of the device, then you have to get a device that does it the best. All the other capabilities that the device doesn't really matter if that's not what you're looking for. And that's what I think the Portal is why it's being so successful. In fact, I would imagine so many people have those devices. I would imagine people buying the Portal have an Asus, have a Steam Deck, have a laptop, have a tablet. They have all this stuff. But those stuff, while it's talented, has multi capabilities, right? Play Game Pass, play PC games, do all this other stuff. It doesn't match the experience of PlayStation 5 Remote. PlayStation Portal is the absolute supreme way to play remote with your PS5. None can do it better. Sure, can other devices do other things better? Like play on Steam, have access to Game Pass, things like that. Absolutely. Those things crush the Portal because the Portal's nowhere near like that, right? But the one thing the Portal does, the other devices cannot do it better. And some people, if they want to remote play with their PS5 and they want the best experience to remote play with the PS5, the Portal absolutely does it. And guess what? This is not even an opinion anymore. It's the best selling accessory. And by that, it's outselling controllers and headsets and all this stuff. It's an amazing piece of device for the people who want that, and it looks like they're getting it. Now, on top of that, with the recent news that it will now also access the cloud, so you can cloud stream games. So now you'll be able to play the games without even remoting. So you have the best of both worlds. You get to remote play with the games that you have on your PS5 console, and whatever, if you're a part of the PSN Plus premium tier, all those games that are cloud enabled and play over streaming, you can now do that too. So that device is winning for those that want it, and you can clearly see it from the sales, right? So pretty incredible. I was completely wrong about, because I was a doubter for that, right? But now, back to Game Pass. And Black Ops. Interesting info here. Call of Duty 6 to Game Pass did a few things in the US. It resulted in a subscription spend boost, shifted share of full game sales to PlayStation, did not appear to result in massive cannibalizations of sales, and did not appear to provide a significant boost to Xbox Series hardware. So multiple points here. Let's break down each point. The first point, Call of Duty 6 to Game Pass did a few things in the US. So the first thing it did is it resulted in a subscription spending boost. So the first part is people are spending into Game Pass. Likely a combination of PC and the people already on consoles. So people who were not subscribed to Game Pass before, they went and subscribed to Game Pass. Now the question is this going to have a long-term effect, right? Because again, we all talked about it. I talked about it on this channel. Hell, somebody called the FBI and CIA on me for mentioning this. You can subscribe to Game Pass, play the game, and unsubscribe. You don't have to subscribe for the full year, whatever. You could just pay $10, $15, whatever. Microsoft took away the dollar deal, right? Because if they would have had the dollar deal, oh my God, it would have been even worse, right? But even then, even without the dollar deal, you could subscribe to Game Pass for 1 month for $15, play the game, whatever, and then unsubscribe, right? But how would this impact the long term? But that's just speculation. Right now, there was a boost for Game Pass subscriptions, and I would imagine it's primarily on PC and the people already on hardware. Now, you may ask, why the people already on hardware? Well, I will get to that point because it's actually addressed in the tweet. Now, going back to the tweet is shifted share of full game sales to PlayStation. Now, you might think shift to sales to full game sales on PlayStation. Yes. In fact, let me show you another tweet that kind of addresses that point specifically. PlayStation platform accounted for 82% of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 total console full game dollar sales volume during the October tracking period. Okay, what that means is on consoles, there's the PlayStation platforms, which is PlayStation 4 and 5, because Black Ops 6 is still on the PlayStation 4, right? And then on the Xbox consoles, you have the Series S, Series X, and the Xbox One. These are the console representation of Black Ops sales. Nintendo's not on it. And of course, PC's in a separate category. That's why he specifically mentions console. So within the group of consoles, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, the PlayStation family made up 82% of the sales. 82. That means Xbox only made up 18%. Now, it kind of makes sense because why are you going to buy the game on Xbox when it's already part of your subscription service? So actual full dollar sales of the game drastically dropped. Okay, now how is that impactful? Imagine this. Imagine you normally buy the game and you play the single player. Now the multiplayer guys, this could work, but let's focus on the single player guys who enjoy Call of Duty just for the single experience. They enjoy the single player experience. Most of them usually buy it to enjoy the single player experience, and then they either trade it back or return it or something like that, or they just let it collect dust because they're not really in the multiplayer type. We're talking about this group. Now Microsoft provided them an opportunity to, if they were already subscribed to Game Pass, right? This is the first point. If they were already subscribed to Game Pass, now they would normally, let's say last year, they subscribed to Game Pass, but they would normally buy Call of Duty to play the single player game. So that would be 60 or 70 bucks Microsoft will get. But now, because Microsoft put a day and date on Game Pass, that user no longer provides Microsoft with 70 bucks, because they're getting the game on a service they're already subscribed to. So that's actually a net loss for Microsoft because they're already paying into Game Pass and they will normally give you more money for the game. Now they're not giving you more money. They're just sitting there enjoying Game Pass. That's the first one. Second group, the multiplayer guys. The guys that do play Call of Duty and they're going to play the hell out of it and they're going to keep it whatever. That group, once again, they were already subscribed to Game Pass, but now they will go out and buy Call of Duty. No problem, because they're going to play the multiplayer. Now they're not giving you your $70. They're like, I was going to get the game regardless, and I'm already paying for Game Pass, so whatever. Boom, whatever. It's already there. That's another group that you're not making money off of anymore, because you're already giving them something to something they're already paying to. The next two group, this is the group that's interesting. How many was not subscribed to Game Pass, but they will buy Call of Duty and because that's all they really care about? That's the group. So two groups within those. Again, the group that does not have Game Pass. This group, we'll start with the multiplayer because it's easy. That group's going to be like, well, I buy Call of Duty every year and stuff like that, and I have like the cheap service of online only. You know what? I'm going to just stick with Game Pass and I'll just play Call of Duty. Boom. That's it. Gain some subscribers there. But the next group who only does it for the single player, right? They're like, man, I'm not going to pay the full $70 when I could just subscribe to Game Pass for 1 month, beat the single player campaign, and then let it expire. That's going to be interesting on how that plays out, right? So that's 2 points for that. But let me go back to the first, not to the first tweet, but to the previous tweet, right? The next thing is, did not appear to result in massive cannibalization of sales. That's an interesting point, right? Because that goes back. Maybe sales didn't get cannibalized. But here's the problem with that statement. Matt Pitzer is talking in entirety, right? As in the whole group. PlayStation is literally the big arm of Call of Duty at 82%. So the majority of the sales is on PlayStation for consoles. Let's not also talk about PC. So it sounds like from a standpoint, huge sales from PlayStation PC kept this game in check and in balance and stuff like that. So that's what it sounds like, right? Because this is really overwhelming. 82% versus 18%. 18% is nothing compared to that. It's literally a nothing burger. If anything, looking at these numbers, let's put it this way. When you have a lopsided sales count of 82 versus 18%, there is no way you can actually tell your shareholders you're not going to put more Xbox games on PlayStation. That number is just insane, especially if it's current gen only, not on PS4, and it's a full $70. That means the majority of $70 sales could potentially be most likely from PlayStation. That's just absolutely bananas. Now, here's the final part. This is where the last part. This is what gets good. The final part. And did not appear to provide a significant boost to Xbox Series hardware. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the so what. Call of Duty Black Ops, for the first time on Game Pass, day and date, barely did anything to convince people to buy an Xbox instead of a PlayStation for the month of October, and chances are it's not going to do much for the rest of the year. Given the fact that 82% of Call of Duty sales is on PlayStation, most people still look at Call of Duty and PlayStation as like the go-to console to play the game. Even with Game Pass, majority didn't really shift. The mind share did not shift. The way the market looks at things barely shifted. Game Pass, day and date, with Call of Duty didn't do much. That is why PlayStation 5 is the number one selling console in the month of October, and not the Xbox Series X or the Series S. Especially with the Series S, that's the cheapest entry. You can literally get into Call of Duty and Game Pass for the cheap, and people still didn't choose that over. Okay, I think it's safe to say the whole Game Pass shifting momentum, right, in favor of Xbox hardware is not going to happen. Because if Call of Duty can't do it, then what game will? I think at this point, the only game that could possibly even begin to shift the momentum would be Grand Theft Auto 6. And that game is not going to be day and date on Game Pass. It's not happening. Take-Two is very adamant about that. They're not going to put that game on Game Pass. And Sony already announced a long time ago they have a partnership with Rockstar and Take-Two. So that game's going to be marketed on PlayStation. So that's where the brunt of the PlayStation sales is going to be. The game sales of Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be on, right? And considering that there's no PC version, at least for a year, maybe two, PlayStation is going to absolutely dominate the market with that game. The experiment is not going to work. If Call of Duty 6, and this is a successful launch, Call of Duty has received lots of positive, great reviews. Everyone across the board is loving it. And Black Ops plus Game Pass did not move the needle at all to help Xbox hardware sales improve, right? At all. It's just nothing else is going to do it. What, you think Avowed and Fable's going to do it? It's just not. Game Pass has not been the industry movement shifter, or shifting the way industry looks at consuming games. Many people, Gamertag Radio, Paris, and just so many other influencers that primarily Xbox, you say, centric, they were all wrong. Game Pass didn't shift the industry in any way. So with Black Ops plus Game Pass equals nothing, barely anything, not even a drip. What game will? No game is going to shift that. It's just not going to happen, right? What's funny is, check this tweet out. This is from Stallion83, all right? Looked him up. He was the first gamer to reach 1 million gamer score on the Xbox platform. It's even a Guinness World Record. So he is the first one, okay? This is him, right? And this is his tweet now. This tweet almost sounds familiar, but it's remixed because we heard a tweet like this before. This is what he says. For $700, would you rather get the powerhouse PlayStation 5 Pro or an Xbox Series S with 3 years of endless games on Game Pass? If that sounds familiar, it's because it's literally a rebranded dish we already heard in 2020. In 2020, before the consoles launch, how many, Xbox influencers, enthusiasts, and paid shills started pushing that Xbox going to dominate this generation of consoles because they have the Xbox Series S, and it is the cheapest entry to gaming. So for $300 plus Game Pass, you instantly have access to 400 something games plus day one games. This is going to outsell the PlayStation 5. That's what they were preaching. That's what they've been saying. Here we go. And that was 2020. We're at the end of 2024. It is November 22nd, 2024. We have 4 years of the market. The market has spoken. We just talked about Call of Duty. This strategy doesn't work. There is no more. Would you rather get a PlayStation and then name whatever price, or an Xbox Series S and Game Pass, blah, 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 whatever. Not working. because we already had that discussion. We had that discussion 4 years ago, over 4 years ago, and we seen how the market responded. We seen how majority of consumers responded. They said, no, Scotty, the whole idea of buying Xbox and Game Pass and that being the main selling point didn't work for the majority. They don't really care about that, right? So this remix version is not going to work. But of course, I entertained this, right? I entertained this conversation, right? This was my opinion and my viewpoint, just simply looking at the temperature in the room. You got to read the room. You got to take all information, right? Guys like him, they just want to stay tunnel vision. Look at the room temperature. Number one, again, that idea was already said 4 years ago and it didn't work. So now you're going to use the Pro? For one, Pro's not going to sell gangbusters. It's not going to be the main selling console. The main selling console is the PlayStation 5. So if you're talking about people who might consider Xbox Series S, they're probably looking at the base PS5, especially the all digital one, because the Xbox Series S is all digital. So they're looking at the all digital PS5 for 450. That's really that customer. Anybody interested in a PS5 Pro is because of the power and what can it do as a console for the rest of the generation. Xbox Series S. So to go from the PS5 Pro to the Series S, wow, that's a drop. That is a downgrade. That is a very bad downgrade. But hey, I entertained this tweet, so this was my reply. My reply was pointless buying an Xbox console of any type at this point, knowing Microsoft's lack of commitment to the box. Buy a PC if you really enjoy Xbox. If you're a console gamer, PlayStation is your best bet. It has a future. I'm sorry for the misspell. That's what it meant. It has a future. Obviously, if you love Nintendo, then get a Switch. It's a simple statement, okay? If you love Xbox gaming, PC is your best box. And I'm going to break it down because even Xbox content creators and influencers and people who play on Xbox just doesn't get it. So I'm going to say it again. The reason why PC is the best Xbox isn't because of mods, which we know all the things PC does. Mods and free online, right? And Steam and all this other stuff. We got it. To me, that's PC versus console in general. Like if you buy PC for free online, then really no console's doing that because Nintendo charges for online too. If you like mods, that's a PC versus console argument, right? That's just being a PC gamer or console gamer. I am talking about Xbox gamer. If you're an Xbox gamer, right, then the PC is the better platform for Xbox gaming than the console as an Xbox gamer. And the reason is Microsoft and what they are doing as a publisher. Microsoft decided to put games day and date on both boxes. So one, either choice you make, you're going to get your Xbox gaming. You're not going to miss out ever. But here is what's crazy. Well, let me go back one more step. Besides day and date, they both got Game Pass. So once again, you're not going to miss out. You could just blind. You could be like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah, I'll take you. PC. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Xbox. Okay. You can actually make a choice blind. You're going to end up with day and date Xbox games, day and date Game Pass, right? But this is where Microsoft changed it and shifted their priority or just made things really weird for the console gamer. Microsoft has been putting more energy into the PC than their own console. That is why you see things like exclusives on the on the PC platform, right? Take for example Aura. That's on PC Game Pass. It's not on console Game Pass. Towerborn Early Access came out first on PC. I don't even know if it's even still available on console. It may not be. But on PC, PC gamers on Game Pass had early access. The consoles didn't, okay? Michael's, take a recent example. Xbox console finally got Death Stranding, and that's because Kojima bought the game back, and now it's officially under his own studios. But here's what's crazy. Death Stranding was already on PC, and not only was it already on PC, it was on PC Game Pass. In fact, Death Stranding on console is not on Game Pass. So Death Stranding is on PC Game Pass. For PC, Death Stranding is not on Xbox console Game Pass. And Microsoft just lets it happen. Even Microsoft's own first party, back when Gears Tactics released, Microsoft released it first on PC. It was a timed exclusive on PC versus their own console. Now, of course, the damage control was controls. It's a RTS. They have to work on the controller support so that way it can be played on console. But the thing is, when the game came out on PC, it already had controller support. PC gamers were able to play the game on the 360 and Xbox One controllers. So Microsoft as a publisher on Xbox are doing more for PC, and just whatever they do for my console is whatever they do. But they don't put any extra effort on the console. They don't give console gamers console exclusive. And they will never put a game on console, right? Now, from this point forward, right? Or even over the last year or so, but from this point forward, you console gamers are not going to get timed exclusives over PC. You're going to get games day and date equally. And if any of the devices get a timed exclusive, it's going to be PC. If any of the devices in the Xbox ecosystem gets an exclusive outright, it's going to be PC. If there's going to be an exclusive on Gamepass, it's going to be PC Game Pass. So choosing Xbox console, you actually get the worst of Microsoft support. That's what's crazy. So if you enjoy Xbox gaming, PC has to be your place. Not because of the whole online whatever. It's where you get the best support from Microsoft themselves. That's absolutely insane. But hey, that's another conversation, right? Now, the next step, if you're a console gamer and you want the best as a console gamer, PlayStation it is. If you're into Nintendo first party, Nintendo it is. It's just the truth. With PlayStation is doing what console gamers want them to do. True console gamers, okay? Not these fanboys who are cook for PC or cook for Microsoft. You get what you really want from the console. Sony's still interested in the hardware. They released the PS5 Pro. They're improving in technologies. And these technologies are going to be pushed forward for the PlayStation 6. They're providing accessories like Portal, #1 selling accessory, so you can enjoy your console, right? PlayStation VR, not so well. But if you're into VR and you personally enjoy the VR experience, it is a great experience. It's just a niche experience and a niche want from people. But if you do want it, you can get it. If you do want it, you can get it. If you don't want it, ignore it. You don't need to worry about it. But if you do want it, PlayStation has it, right? And it's these things that makes PlayStation enjoyable for the console gamer, right? And Sony still tries for exclusive, timed exclusives, even against on PC. Recent news about Sony taking over Kadokawa, right? Big topic, whatever. But a lot of PC and Xbox gamers are nervous. Why are they nervous? Because they're afraid Sony has the potential to make these games exclusive from software games or timed exclusives. Vice day and date multiplat across all gaming devices. There's a reason why they're nervous. It's because Sony still cares about their console, or they're still focused on the console from a business perspective. They see the value in doing that for their console. It is what it is. And then of course, if you're a Nintendo fan, Nintendo first party is king. Some of the, high selling, everybody loves it. The world loves Nintendo, right? Doesn't matter how I feel about it. It is clear winner. You go with the Switch. But as far as Xbox consoles, Microsoft completely devalued that. And they clearly show that at best is Orphan Annie. Is second fiddle to PC, cloud, and everything else, right? That was my reply, right? So now he replies, and this is the thing about Xbox gamers. I don't understand the disconnection. Because it was clear what I was saying. Because the topic was $700 Pro versus the Xbox Series S. So the conversation is about the console, right? I'm sure you guys understand. Is the conversation about anything else? Right? Console. This is his reply. They spent $69 billion last year to bolster their gaming division. If that isn't commitment, I don't know what is. Now we're talking about gaming division. Like, bro, that is not your topic. Do you like did you spend so much time achieving that million score you didn't graduate school or something? I don't know. Your topic was about consoles. This is your tweet, bro. Stallion. This is your tweet. Your tweet is not about the gaming division. This is not the topic. The topic is about choosing a console versus another console. For $700, would you rather get the powerhouse PlayStation 5 Pro, a console, or choose this console, Xbox Series S with 3 years of endless gaming? I don't understand where commitment to the gaming division come from. That's a totally separate topic, Stallion. Like I don't know. Again, this reply of yours does not make sense. This is a whole new conversation. If the conversation was about Microsoft's commitment as a gaming division, totally different. But we're talking about consoles. So of course, you see me, I'm going to reply, right? But I just reply with this because it's a whole different, I don't know. This is just weird. So I replied to him. I said, and I put in quotes, commitment to the box, not, and I put in quote, gaming division. That's two solely different topics. Keyword is box, and I had to point it out. So hopefully when he sees this tweet, he realizes, oh, in my opinion, he's doing the same mistake that was done 4 years ago, which is insane. Stallion, why are you making the same mistake? You are emotionally making a point and think that this is going to help Xbox. Stallion, your original question right here, this original question right here was pretty much asked in a different way, but pretty much the same thing 4 years ago. It was answered 4 years ago. Okay? It was answered 4 years ago. And the answer to that question that was 4 years ago, is this. This is your current answer. PlayStation 5 was once again the best-selling hardware platform. So stop with the whole value. It's not working. It's 2024, brother. It's November. We're about to eat some Thanksgiving. Turkey, pork shoulders, whatever is your preferred meal. It's 2024. Right? In fact, we're already 4 years deep into the console gen. Black Ops on Game Pass didn't help. Let's cut the nonsense. It's over. Game Pass is not going to get people to buy Xbox Series S. It's just not. The people have chosen. Right? And given Microsoft's lack of commitment to the console, hell, lately they've been talking more about PlayStation than their own console. And then with the recent advertisement, which I know you saw, everything's in Xbox. How does that help people choose consoles when everything else is in Xbox? In people's mind, they already have an Xbox. And if you are relaying a message telling people you already got an Xbox, then why would you go out and buy another Xbox when you already have an Xbox? This is your only friend in your YouTube streets, PorterRock77. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you again soon. And if you're new to the channel, I know you're going to stick around. You're going to hit that subscribe button. You're going to hit the like button. And you're going to stick around. Every Tuesday, got a podcast, 60 frames, no lag. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You're going to be there and you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy the conversation with the crew and we're going to talk everything, all right? Everything gaming, rough, raw, unfiltered, right? You're going to enjoy it. And I'm glad you're here. For all the current subscribers or people coming through, I'm glad you showed up again and I will see you guys again soon. And I'm glad you're here enjoying the content. Hit up the comment section. Let's continue the conversation. Don't let it end here. Continue the conversation, all right? Did you think Game Pass was shade thing? And it's okay. A lot of people assumed. This is not, oh, you're an idiot. A lot of people assumed Black Ops and Game Pass will be a forced multiplier. Were you one of those? And how do you feel about it now that you've seen up-to-date information? We'd love to hear the conversation on that. You could catch me on Blue Sky, PorterRock77. Yes, I have a Blue Sky account. Or you could catch me on X, Twitter, right? PorterRock77 with an underscore. So Twitter underscore, Blue Sky, no underscore. Catch me on both platforms. And stick around because I know you're going to come back. You guys take care. Enjoy your weekend. Your only friend is YouTube Streets. I'm out of here. Peace. Grand opening